Okay, had another good scrimmage today. I think we went 94 plays, operated with 3 groups. We did a little more situational. We did it backed up. We did a plus 50 and a plus 25, and then we went old school like we did last week at the minus 30. A lot of good things. Really wanted to concentrate on running the football, stopping the run a little bit more than we did last scrimmage. I'm really not for sure what the total numbers were at this point, but it was a little bit more run than it was the previous scrimmage. But overall, I thought our guys responded well. It was really good work. And I'm really hoping right now we can kind of start putting the pieces of the puzzle. We'll see what happens as coaches after we grade the film, but we're getting some really, really good information right now. Questions?
It's becoming a little bit more clear in the center position. I know that's been an ongoing battle with 3 players. Is it becoming clearer who's emerging?
Yeah, I'm hoping after we watch the scrimmage it will. It's still a really good competition. I'll say this, all 3 of those guys could start in Division I football, and I think that's the positive. I don't know if I've ever had as much quality depth at the center position, but hopefully after this scrimmage we'll be able to start putting some order to it.
Gus, what player or position group maybe stood out today in the scrimmage that you were really happy about and really, areas that you really want to work on after that?
Yeah, really was, we wanted to really just challenge our O-line and D-line, and really our linebackers and running backs just to feel what that feels like, to get to a, 6th and 7th play drive, so that was really the focus. I think both sides did some good things. They needed it. We needed it in a big way, but it's hard to say one person. It was just really offensive, defensive line, front 7, and running backs.
Coach, you had mentioned after last scrimmage that you found that you guys have depth, and then got another scrimmage in. At this point, what would you say is the group that has increased most as far as the depth within the team?
I think our O-line, D-line. This was the first fall camp I can remember that we actually went 3 groups the first 2 weeks, and I think we have quality depth, especially on the 1s and 2s. I think we go 10 deep, really on both sides of the football, and that's good. We thought we did before fall camp started, but now I can tell you that we do, and that'll be really vital as season's going on. To lose a couple people, you can't have enough depth up front. Right now, we feel really good.
Did you see a gretter toughness from your team during the scrimmage?
That was really it. That was really what the challenge was. We'll watch on film. The film tells you everything, but I'll be able to answer that question a little bit more after we watch the film.
You talked last week about the importance of this being one of the closest teams in America. Is that something you've seen continue to progress in the
Yeah, I feel really good about where we're at with that. You go on the road 6 times, you travel more than any other Division I team in college football. You're going to have to be close, and we're going to continue to work on that. But right now, we're chipping away every day, working on that. It's getting better and better. We don't just want to be a defense and offense. We want to be a true team. So we're doing some things, team building things, even outside of practice to help with that. But I'd say we're in a good spot right now.
You talked about quality depth. Obviously, there's a battle at that backup quarterback position. What would you like to see out of Dylan Rizek and to make a claim to that?
They just need more reps. They need more reps in those type of situations to play real football instead of just a play and install a play. They need to feel what it feels like situational football. When outside the pocket, not to take a sack, when to throw it away, when to keep it, when to pull it. They just need more experience. Both of them. Obviously, Dylan's a rookie, being a freshman. Timmy's he played, but that was a year ago, and he's a true freshman. So both those guys are still learning. But I think they both really want to be good, and they want to be coached. And I think that's the key to successful quarterback.
What's the biggest question maybe you had, or one of them going into the preseason that's starting to get answered maybe after this second scrimmage?
I think who's ready to play and who's not. We have some true freshmen that can flat out play. I've told our staff last night, this class we had, we did really well. There's some really, really good football players that will help us this year. And I'm not talking to special teams, I'm talking about by position. So that's really been the thing that stood out to me so far is our young guys being ready to play.
Gus, with the remaining time you have left in fall camp, what do you want to accomplish? What would you like to see happen over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it'll be, we'll be a little more situational. really got to start the execution phase. You know, anytime you rotate three groups, I mean, you know, that we were really trying to strain them to get the standard out the first week. This week was about physical and mental toughness, that edge of who we need to be as a team, and next week will be about execution. We really need to fine tune those little things, and it always, like, it's by design. I mean, after the second scrimmage, everything should be fairly clear from a coach's standpoint, and then you can get into that next level about the little wrinkles off everything and the execution piece.
Coach, playing off of that, do you have a date or a practice circle where you want those ones and twos to be finalized to move forward and start planning for Kansas
Well, I mean,
State?
hopefully our coaches will have a better idea after this scrimmage. I mean, you know, we'll go another week of fall camp, and then, you know, that when it gets 2 weeks out, that's when we kind of transition into our first opponent, and, you know, we'll have the pieces of the puzzle for sure by then. But I think today gave us some good information, at least to get closer to that.
Coach, you talked lightly about kind of off the field events to help kind of build the camaraderie and brotherhood amongst the team. How much more important is that now? I mean, we're well into the NIL and transfer portal area where guys don't quite have as much time together off the bat. How important are those off the field events to kind of build that?
Yeah, I think we have 18 transfers, and we have over 20 freshmen that came in, so that's all new guys. And the transfers came from different programs with different standards. So it's just everyone understanding the expectation, the standard, and we worked extremely hard on that the first 2 weeks.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the freshmen. I just wanted to get your opinion on how Braden Marshall's looked.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a true freshman. I mean, he plays with confidence. He's going to help us this year.
In today's scrimmage, were there any particular players or performances or individual effort plays that kind of stick out to you?
Yeah, Corey Patterson made a wild interception. That kind of stood out. A couple good runs. Mark Anthony Richards really ran well. He had one very, very physical run that I was impressed with. I think the defense had a couple turnovers. We had a full Big 12 officiating crew. We had a little too many penalties overall, because anytime you get the real crew, that's what it is. But when you're rotating three groups, sometimes they're with the white group and all that, it got a little sloppy. But it's good for us to coach off that and kind of understand where we're at as far as the discipline aspect too.
So about that, the Big 12 officiating crew, did they have a meeting with the team about all the different role changes? Is that something that always happens during camp?
Yeah, we're doing that this week. But it's a really, really good conference as far as official goes. They did a great job today.
More on the defense, what did you see from them today that you liked the most? You mentioned turnovers.
Yeah, you can really hear the defensive leaders on the other side of the ball in the scrimmage, encouraging their guys, because that's what it was really about. I mean, coaches, they make the coaches stay on the sideline. It's a player deal, and every championship team I've been blessed to be a part of, the players took over, whether it was offense out there, defense out there, and they led the show. And so I heard a lot of talk on the defensive side, which is good.
Coach, I remember when you were first here, you talked a lot about how college football would be changing, and then shortly after that, UCF moving to the Big 12 was the event. Now, recently, there's movement all over the country. When you were saying then that change would be coming in college football, did you think it would be this much?
I don't think anybody did. I mean, we're in fall camp, and we're laser focused. I mean, y'all probably know a little bit more about all the details than we do. We just know who's added in our conference, and like I said, we'll cross that bridge next year. We're focused on this year and focused on our schedule and be the best version of us this year.
Guys, you talked about your focus this camp a lot has been on close games as well.
Yeah.
A lot of close games. How much does special teams play a big part of that when you're getting in those close
There is
situations?
no doubt. Special teams will be huge with that. This week, like I said, hopefully we have the piece of the puzzle a little closer to identifying our guys. We'll start working on situations too. It'll be a really big week for 2 minutes, not just one day, but really the whole week as far as that emphasis goes and everything that goes with it. And those end of game scenarios, we can't go over those enough. And now that we have 2 scrimmages under our belt, that's what this week will be about.
Beyond Javon Baker and Kobe Hudson, who's standing out at wide receiver?
I tell you what, Xavier Townsend, I mean, he really, he's a true freshman last year, did really good for us. Now he's really turning into a complete receiver. He's got a lot of winter in him and just brings his A game. Trent Whittemore is a guy that you can tell is experienced. He just knows how to play, does a lot of little things right. He plays without the ball exceptionally well. Jared Baker's really come into his own. I've been real proud of him. I mean, in his defense, we finally put him in one position this spring. We've left him there. You know, he's kind of been that toolbox guy in the past, but he's really done some good things too. And so those are the guys that stick out, you know, right now.
Tell us about your polo. Who is Seth? The Kingdom polo you got on today.
Yeah, the Kingdom polo, and then one of our top Kingdom donors. I think the top Kingdom donor, and so we're really excited about him. And we'll see. We'll probably do a little more of this in the future too.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.